It's Monday, February 2nd, 2015. This is PSN News. Tonight we'll have the latest on last night's Super Bowl.
We'll also have a live interview with members of the Sexual Assault Task Force coming up on PSN News.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tatum Coffey.
And I'm Jess Arnold. Last night marked the 49th Super Bowl. This Super Bowl was the highest rated in history. According to NBC Sports, 120.8 million people watched the New England Patriots' victory over the Seahawks, making this Super Bowl the most watched show in TV history. The halftime show starred Katy Perry, who performed a medley of her hits in a pyrotechnic-heavy show that featured Lenny Kravitz and Missy Elliott. Overall, last night's game was the fourth highest rated Super Bowl ever.
The Associated Press reported that the founder and CEO of Black Capitol Records and former CEO of Death Row Records, Marion Suge Knight, spent Saturday night in jail on suspicion of murder. Earlier today, his bail was revoked. Sheriff's deputies say Knight hit and killed a man and injured another man with his pickup truck on Thursday afternoon of last week. It was also said that Knight immediately left the scene. Knight's lawyer says he was an innocent victim who tried to escape an attack. Knight could face up to 30 years in prison due to multiple convictions before this incident.
Two former Vanderbilt University football players were found guilty on Tuesday of sexually assaulting a classmate. According to ABC News, the Nashville jury took only a few hours to decide Brandon Vandenberg and Corey Beatty were guilty on 4 counts of aggravated rape, 1 count of attempted aggravated rape, and 2 counts of aggravated sexual battery. Vandenberg was also found guilty of tampering with evidence and unlawful photography after prosecutors claimed he recorded the sexual assault on his phone and then shared it with friends. The two are set to be sentenced on March 6th. 2 other former Vanderbilt football players, Brandon Banks and Jaborian McKenzie, are also facing charges of rape and sexual battery for their alleged involvement in the incident. They have not yet gone to trial, and all 4 players pleaded not guilty.
South African apartheid-era death squad commander Eugene de Kock has been granted parole after 2 decades in jail. The Huffington Post reported that the South African government made the announcement on Friday. They gave a brief explanation for his release, saying that his freedom was in the interest of national reconciliation. However, many of de Kock's victims still struggle from the harm that he had inflicted upon them while they were imprisoned. He was pardoned from some of his crimes, which included the bombing of the church headquarters. However, he was convicted for 6 murders and 83 other crimes. South African parliament officials said that the time and place of his release won't be made.
3 Russian nationals were charged with espionage in New York City early last week, according to U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara. According to court papers, Evgeny Buryakov was caught posing as a banker with co-conspirators to gather intelligence for Russia. According to prosecutor Adam Fee, evidence against the men is strong, with up to hundreds of incriminating recordings. According to the New York Daily News, Buryakov and his accomplices were working for the Russian spy agency, gathering information on potential U.S. sanctions against Russian banks. The other 2 alleged co-conspirators have diplomatic jobs and cannot be prosecuted on the grounds of diplomatic immunity. Buryakov is vehemently denying the charges as he waits bail. If convicted, he could face up to 10 years in prison.
The popular burger bar, Shake Shack, burst into the market on Friday, more than doubling its share prices by the end of the day. The Associated Press is reporting that the restaurant released an initial public offering of $21 and rose nearly 120% by the closing bell. This increase values the chain at $1.6 billion. The hot dog cart turned chain restaurant is known for its burgers, milkshakes, and crinkle-cut fries. Shake Shack first opened in Manhattan, and began expanding along the East Coast as it gained a following. After the success of its IPO, the company plans to open at least 10 more U.S. stores this year.
President Eric Barron made an official statement regarding the Freeh Report. We'll have more coming up.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Penn State's Task Force on Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment released its final report Thursday. The report includes 18 recommendations for education and action on campus. President Eric Barron commissioned the task force when he took office in last May. Led by the Vice President for Student Affairs, Damon Sims, the task force aims to create a campus culture that does not tolerate sexual violence. One recommendation that may make students more willing to report incidents is a change in the reporting process. Now, the university uses the same process for reporting all types of student misconduct. The task force suggested switching to an investigative model that would focus solely on sexual misconduct cases. The task force says that they think this model will allow for fairer and more accurate outcomes. We'll have more on this coming up.
On Wednesday, Penn State President Eric Barron expressed his disapproval of the Freeh Report, which investigated the university's involvement into the Jerry Sandusky child sex abuse case. Barron said he was disappointed by the report conducted by former FBI Director Louis Freeh, who was commissioned by the university in 2012. The review concluded that former administrators Graham Spanier, Gary Schultz, and Tim Curley, as well as former head football coach Joe Paterno, knowingly withheld key facts about the Sandusky case to prevent bad publicity. Barron said there were many problems with the report, and it should not be used as the basis of any decision facing Penn State. The case of the three administrators is still pending.
Rob McCord has announced that he is stepping down from his position as Pennsylvania State Treasurer, and this is effective immediately. He made the announcement on Thursday in the wake of federal charges that he alleged to extort campaign donors. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reported that the charges against McCord were raised after he allegedly told possible campaign contributors that he could make their jobs difficult if they did not donate money. McCord was elected to 2 four-year terms in the office. Governor Tom Wolf will now have to nominate a successor to fill the job through the 2016 election. Christopher Craig, a former chief of staff for McCord, will be his replacement for the time being.
It's that time of year for Penn State students to feel under the weather. Jordan Jagalenzer visited University Health Services to get the inside scoop on how best to stay healthy this winter season.
Jordan Jagalenzer here at University Health Services, where we're talking to healthcare professionals and students about what they're doing to stay healthy this flu season. Stay tuned.
As we reach the peak of flu season, University Health Services has become a popular destination as students start to feel under the weather.
A lot of my friends are getting sick. My roommate was sick last week.
The United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention stated that this influenza season is especially severe, with more hospitalizations.
This year I was hospitalized for the flu with 104-degree fever.
This year's flu vaccine is less effective than usual due to a mutated virus causing it to protect against the wrong strain.
I did not get a flu shot this year.
After getting the flu shot, I felt like it wasn't as effective.
Healthcare professionals still advise students to receive the vaccine despite their opinions.
Even though it's not as effective as it has been in previous years, it's still a better idea to get it than to not get it.
University Health Services says that there are still ways students can avoid getting the flu.
Students can also avoid the flu by practicing good hand hygiene habits, so washing their hands with warm water and soap for about 20 seconds, just by practicing good health habits. So making sure to get enough sleep, 7 to 9 hours a night, eating a healthy diet with lots of fruits and vegetables, and getting regular exercise.
Health Services pharmacists recommend stopping by as soon as students begin to feel ill. For PSN News, I'm Jordan Jaglenzer.
Penn State football coach Bob Shoop was named the 24/7 Sports National Defensive Coordinator of the Year. On Friday, 247sports.com reported that Shoop helped lead the defensive unit to be ranked the #2 defense in the nation, along with reaching and winning a bowl game in the team's first year under head coach James Franklin. Penn State was one of only 5 teams to allow less than an average of 300 yards per game in the 2014 season. Shoop had more to celebrate this week when his son Tyler Shoop announced on Saturday that he will be joining the team. The younger Shoop is a wide receiver and will be a preferred walk-on.
Penn Staters are worried that parking prices will also be turning up this upcoming football tailgating season. On Thursday, the athletic department announced the price for a football season parking pass will increase to $100 per car for 7 games this season and $350 per RV. The single game advance purchase for cars will increase to $15, and single game for RVs will go up to $60. Parking for disabled fans will also be experiencing some changes this season. Prices for season tickets and Nittany Lion Club donation levels will not increase.
We'll be right back with members of the Sexual Assault Task Force. Stay tuned.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on... Is it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll, we say. Take care, people, for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still
buy me treats. You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year? The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Welcome back. I'm Shannon Ryan. We're here with Alexandra Lamont, a Penn State student who served on the President's Task Force on Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment, which published its findings in a final report last week. Hi, Allie.
Hi, Shannon.
We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so since the report was published last week, you've been caught up in kind of a media frenzy. I'm sure you've been asked a million questions by now. But out of all those questions, what is a message that you hope to send? What is one constant thing you hope to stress that students take away from your findings?
I think it's important to stress that obviously this is such a huge issue. That's why administrators, faculty, staff, and students sat down to really examine what we have going on, to really examine how we can improve, and to see that the university is doing something about this and that we want to prevent this issue from occurring and that we are doing all that we can to kind of see where we need to improve and kind of look forward to the future.
Looking forward to the future, you guys published 18 recommendations. Which out of those 18 recommendations, obviously they're all important, do you think is most imperative that it's enacted?
For the student perspective, and most importantly, I think that creating that bystander initiative, creating a bystander intervention program that will reach students. It will we want to look at different models to use it with it. We want to look at how we can really reach every Penn State student. So whether that's reaching out to student leaders first, teaching them these basic skills to kind of prevent unhealthy situations from happening, and then they go back to their respective organizations and teach those skills, whether it's they do hate crimes, they do issues versus gender bias and mental health issues. So really looking at the bystander intervention and seeing how we can get that to the most amount of students, I think that will be the most effective way to kind of create this environment. Because if we create that environment of this bystander intervention, we're looking out for one another, like Penn Staters are caring about one another and looking out for the other's best interest, then we will create that culture. Then we will create that kind of environment where students can thrive.
Okay, you've mentioned a student's role in this. On the task force, you were one of only 3 students, correct? Right. In some of your media relations, you've mentioned that what you found one of the biggest disconnects was that a lot of the people you were working with were 30 or so years out of college. How were you able to bridge that gap?
I think that while it was difficult, I think at the same time, they valued our opinion. Every time Melissa or I had an idea and they could see us just even thinking about something, they would immediately shoot to us and say, Allie has to say something. So our opinion was heard and they wanted our input because they don't know the hookups, the stigmas, the alcohol situations. They don't know the type of social situations that students are in. So by educating them and them educating us on what services are available, what they're doing on the administrative level, then they were educating us and we were educating them. So it was almost like they needed us there because they can't create these programs, they can't create these initiatives if they don't know what students need. So I think that was very important. And even working in our subcommittees, our opinion was heard and we were always looked to for advice or for questions if they needed clarification on different programmings that there are available or different things that we've been to that we think is effective versus not effective, and really looking at it from that angle. And Michelle Truax was the student from a Commonwealth campus, Shenango, that would call in and she gave different testimony for what's going on at Commonwealth campuses. And so she kind of gave that perspective. So it was a constant flow of communication between both the administration and us.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, we'll have your week's weather forecast. Stay tuned.
From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Good evening, Center County student meteorologist Ryan Bells here with your Campus Weather Service forecast for today, February 2nd. Today is Groundhog Day, and this morning, Punxsutawney Phil in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania saw his shadow this morning, so we are looking at 6 more weeks of winter. So if you like winter, stay tuned, because it looks like it's going to be a very interesting end of the season. What else we're tracking for today? We're looking at cold temperatures are going to be sticking around. We saw very cold temperatures this weekend, and with the windy conditions that are also going to be sticking around, the wind chill is going to feel very cold out there. Even by Thursday night, we could still be talking about lows in the negative single digits. It's going to be very cold out there throughout the week. We also run the chance for some more snow. Looking ahead to Wednesday, I'll have that in your full 7-day coming right up. Temperature change from yesterday. We saw a dramatic cool off after the snow came through. Scranton, 14 degrees cooler, Altoona, 14 degrees cooler, and even down in West Virginia, some 20 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. It's quite chilly out there. Our eye in the future forecast, mapping it out for you. We're looking at partly cloudy skies throughout the evening tonight. Can't rule out a flurry or two, nothing too major. And then some partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Tomorrow we're going to see actually some sunshine for your day on Tuesday. Before Wednesday, some snow moves into the area. We're looking at some light snow showers. Better chance comes late on Wednesday and into the day on Thursday when we could see some snow showers throughout Center County and all throughout the Commonwealth for that matter. Then going into the rest of the day on Thursday, we dry it right back out and we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies throughout the Commonwealth. Temperatures throughout that time period, we're looking at single digits tonight down to 8, but it's going to feel a whole lot colder out there with the winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour tonight. For tomorrow, we're going to warm it up into the mid-20s before we cool it back down going into Wednesday and Thursday. Like I mentioned, Thursday night, back down into the negative single digits. That's just the temperature, not the feel-like temperature for Thursday night. Take a look at our feel-like temperatures over the next day or so. We're going to see negative 3 degrees tonight. It's going to feel like right around 11:30 tonight. It's going to be bitterly cold out there, so make sure you bundle up if you're headed out over the next few days. Taking a look at our forecast, though, for tonight, frigid temperatures, 3 degrees is all we're calling for, with winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies for tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to see some sunshine, sun and clouds, cool temperatures, though, 23 degrees. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10. Your 7-day forecast, mapping it out for you. Up to 35 on Wednesday, but look for some snow before we see mostly cloudy skies to end off the week. But look at that. Cold temperatures, negative 2 degrees Thursday night, and then only 19 for Friday before some snow moves back in late in the weekend. It looks like Sunday we could see a few snow showers in the area. That's all from the Campus Weather Service. We'd like to thank you for tuning in.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll, we say. Take care, people, for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still
Buy me treats. You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Welcome back. I'm Nicole Barros with this week's Sports Wrap-Up. Records were set, balls were intercepted, and punches were thrown last night in the Super Bowl 49 at the University of Phoenix Stadium in Arizona. A Malcolm Butler interception of Russell Wilson's bullet at the 1-yard line in the final minute sealed the Patriots' 28-24 win over the Seahawks. This questionable play call from Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll has drawn a lot of attention and is being named the worst call ever. On the other side of the ball, Tom Brady and the Patriots were able to erase a 24-14 deficit with just under 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The now 4-time Super Bowl champion threw for 328 yards and 4 touchdowns against the NFL's top-ranked defense. Another big event this weekend, the Philadelphia College Hockey Face-Off at the Wells Fargo Center. The Penn State men's hockey team came back from a 2-0 deficit to defeat number 14 Vermont 4-2. The Nittany Lions struggled offensively early on, but freshman Casey Bailey netted his 18th goal to make it 2-1. The momentum shifted to Penn State at the start of the third period with the game-tying goal from freshman Scott Conway. Sophomore Dave Thompson gave the Nittany Lions their first lead of the game late in the third period, his first career goal. Sealing the win for Penn State was sophomore David Goodwin 2 minutes later. Penn State is now 13-7-4 on the season. The Penn State women's hockey team maintains its second-place seat in the CHA standings following their win this past Sunday. Scott Sikowski has more from Kula Ice Arena.
The Penn State women are sporting alternate jerseys today to support breast cancer awareness as they face Syracuse in a rematch of Friday night's game where the teams tied 2-2. Hannah Honschel was able to get the ball rolling for the Penn State offense as she found the back of the net at the 6:31 mark of the second period to start a 3-goal barrage by the Nittany Lions. After Laura Bowman notched her 13th goal of the season, Hannah Brahm slipped past the defense and fired a shot that beat the Syracuse goaltender over the left shoulder. The scores came in just a 3-minute span, giving the Nittany Lions a comfortable lead in the second period. Syracuse forward Allie Lacombe got the orange on the board by deflecting Kaylee Goodno's shot on net, but it would not be enough with Penn State's Celine Whitlinger in the cage. Whitlinger has been a rock in the net in her 16 appearances this season. Her .938 save percentage ranks 5th best in women's college hockey, and she was able to hold off the Orange by allowing only 2 goals on 34 shot attempts throughout the contest. Emily Lorenzi secured the CHA win by scoring an empty net goal from her own red line with 1 minute left in the third period. Penn State wins this one in front of the home crowd by the final score of 4-2. With the win over Syracuse, Penn State improves their record of 4-1-1 in the last 6 games and 8-4-2 in the CHA. Their next 2 games will be at Lindenwood next weekend.
The Penn State women's basketball team lost a close-fought game to Rutgers 76-65 on Sunday afternoon, despite having a second-half lead. Freshman Lindsey Spann drained 3 shots from beyond the arc, registering a team-best 16 points. Rutgers struggled against Penn State's 2-3 zone defense to start the second half, going 2 for 15 from the floor. The Lady Lions trailed 64-62 with just under 4 minutes left in the game, but the Scarlet Knights ended on a 12-3 run. 4 Lady Lions scored double digits in the loss. Following the defeat, Penn State falls to 5-17 overall. And that's all for this week's sports. PSN News will be right back after this.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year? The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that? We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Penn State's hip-hop dance crew, Ram Squad, welcomed many dancers this weekend at their annual dance competition. Reporter Kim Dawson has more.
I'm here at Heritage Hall at the Hub Robeson Center, where Penn State's Ram Squad is hosting the 12th annual Rhythm Spotlight Dance Competition, where Penn State students and outside folks are competing for cash prizes. Let's take a look.
Dancers dominated the floor at Heritage Hall on Saturday as the Rhythm Spotlight Dance Competition took place. This event marked the 12th annual Rhythm Spotlight hosted by Penn State's hip-hop and breakdancing student organization, Ram Squad. The event consisted of one-on-one and two-on-two battles with breakdancing, all-style dancing, and ciphers, performed by not only Penn State students, but outside dancers as well.
Dancers from all over the world, people from Japan, people from Europe, people from other states, and they all come here to compete.
Prize money ranging from $50 to $400 was awarded to winners of the judged battles. Although some people were drawn to compete for cash prizes, others competed for different reasons.
It's a great way for growth. You get experience and what you need to work on that you can't get in regular practice. It encourages you to work so much harder as a dancer.
Presented and sanctioned by the Urban Dance and Educational Foundation's Pro Breaking Tour, this year's competition had about 350 people signed up to compete. Although some dancers returned to Penn State for their second or third time competing in Rhythm Spotlight, others made the trip for the very first time.
Kind of a nice way to kick off my 16th year in the culture. At a brand new place, brand new venue, a lot of new energy because I haven't seen a lot of these kids before.
This year's Rhythm Spotlight brought big-name dancers to the event, including multidisciplinary artist and b-boy Why Not, Brian Footwork Green, and Japan's Hanomi. The event wrapped up on Sunday with a discussion led by Why Not about evolving hip-hop and progressing it towards a more sustainable future. For PSN News, I'm Kim Diossen.
And that does it for us here tonight at PSN News for February 2nd, 2015. Thank you for joining us, and make sure to check us out on Twitter at PSN News.